Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit entitled People and it's by user Savvy Maverick. My neighbor's daughter just told me I need to park in my driveway again. I either don't encounter many entitled people in my day or I am really good at ignoring people, but this one just took the cake, lol. So I, 40 female, just got my driveway replaced 2 days ago. Asphalt, not concrete. The contractor told me I could park my car on it again after 3 days. Google said 7 to 10. As much money as I spent on it, I decided to listen to Google. I live on a two-way yet one driving lane street. On my side, all of the houses are street level and have driveways, while the houses across the street are on a bit of a hill with steps leading up to them. The only street parking is on my side. Their side has an alleyway or service road behind them where those owners could park. A lot of them choose not to. They'd rather park in front of our houses. Not a big deal, I don't own the street and don't care who parks there as long as they aren't blocking me in. Now, there are 2 spots, sedan-sized, between every driveway. I have been parking on the street in front of my house for these 2 days now and plan to stay there for at least another 5. I did not park in the middle so that no other car can also park because I'm not an a-hole. One of my across the street neighbors has a daughter who is home from college, 19, maybe, I don't know. What I do know is she drives an SUV that is entirely too big and won't fit in front of my car without partially blocking the driveway of the neighbor next to me. So, I'm outside this morning watering my flowers, minding my damn business, and this girl comes over unannounced and uninvited. No greeting, no hi, just straight up, "Hey, when are you moving your car?" I blinked, "Excuse me?" She gestured toward her oversized SUV like I was supposed to know what she meant. "My truck can't fit with your car there." I glanced at my freshly paved driveway, still roped off with yellow caution tape, mind you, and said, "I just got my driveway done." She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Yeah, I see that, but it looks dry to me. My dad said asphalt doesn't take as long as concrete." I smiled, turned back to my flowers and kept on watering. That didn't stop her. "You can park your car on it now." At this point, I took a deep breath because the audacity was starting to boil over. Trying and curing aren't exactly the same, I told her, clearly annoyed. I won't be parking on it for another few days. And then, I kid you not, she actually said, "No, you need to do it now. There's nowhere else for me to park. What am I supposed to do?" My eyes started twitching. Not this little girl telling me what I need to do with my property. So through clenched teeth I asked, "What about your service road?" She huffed, "My parents park back there. There's no room." I gave her the kindest, most passive-aggressive smile I could muster and said, "Well, I don't know what to tell you. I wish you an ounce of luck." Smiley face. Poor child turned a few shades of red and stomped back across the street. I am not one of those older millennials who thinks Gen Z are all entitled babies, but what the hell was that? Laughing emoji. And in case you're wondering, I work from home, did all my grocery shopping and errand running a few days ago. I have no plans on leaving the house or my spot again at least until Wednesday. She'll just have to suffer. Smirk. Nicely done, OP. You handled that with grace and just the right amount of spice. Her entitlement isn't your emergency, especially not when it risks damaging your investment. People forget street parking is public, not promised. And I gotta say, OP, you gave her more patience than most people would. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's quickly check out the community comments. Sports car toot person says, "I'd make a point to park on the street for the rest of the summer." Smiley face. Dragon Within says, "This is where having a second vehicle or getting your groceries delivered is great, because I can tell you I'd leave my car there the entire damn summer." And OP responds, "Part of me wants to, but there is another part of me that is always scared of being sideswiped, lol." Software Maintenance says, "Just for this display of ignorance, I would be parking on the street for a few weeks just to spite this child. I mean, it is on OP's side of the street even." And OP responds, "My side in front of my house even. I didn't know I needed permission or had a time limit, lol." Alright, well, the community was shining with support for OP and some pretty nice and petty ideas. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Wow, okay, so I didn't expect as many comments as I got, lol. I also had no plans on doing any updates because I didn't think there would be one. First, just to address a couple things that came up constantly in the comments. Why don't you park blocking your own driveway so she can fit? I considered doing this the day the work was done, but not because of her. She nor her spaceship ever crossed my mind. I was going to do it so that no one could attempt to use my driveway to do a 3-point turn, but I decided not to. Not to be vindictive, I just simply didn't think it was necessary. I genuinely didn't see an issue with me parking on the street. Also, despite the arguing in the comments, in Pennsylvania blocking a driveway, even your own, is illegal. I live in a suburb where the police department has nothing better to do than just drive around. I don't actually believe they would enforce it or ticket me for it though, unless they were truly bored. However, after that exchange, I wasn't going to do a single damn thing to accommodate her. If that makes me the entitled one, then I'll be that. Taking up one space in front of my own house seems, I don't know, perfectly reasonable. You can park on it now. Google is being over the top. I actually agree. 7 to 10 days is a little outlandish. However, my concern is my car sitting there for prolonged periods. If I were leaving every day for 8+ hours, I would be more inclined to start parking on it now. However, I really don't leave often for more than maybe 2 hours at a time a couple of days a week. My car is a 2018 and only has 24,000 miles on it. I'm a homebody for real, lol. Also, my driveway previously was crumbling, but also sinking in exactly where my tires lined up. Coincidence? I think not. I hope you have cameras. She's gonna vandalize your car. I do have cameras, in plain view. I also have a motion detection dash cam, but I am not too concerned about that. Like I said, it's a 7-year-old car that's been paid off for 2 years. If she's dumb enough to have to buy me a new one, that's on her. Also, her father is pretty high on our district school board. I didn't go looking for that information, he told me that years ago. I don't think he would take too kindly to his daughter tanking his reputation over something so trivial. Lastly, thank you to everyone for all the petty suggestions. I got a laugh out of those. I won't be buying a clunker to sit in front of my house until the dawn of time, but I appreciate the dedication. Now for the update. Earlier today, I was outside on a video call with another contractor showing them my fence that needs to be replaced. My neighbor, the father, was also outside doing yard work. He waved and I gave him a polite smile and continued with my conversation. When he saw that I had hung up, he waved again to get my attention and came across the street. He started by asking me my version of events yesterday, and I told him. He kind of looked mortified and just shook his head and mumbled, "That's her mother." He then proceeded to tell me how his daughter got all of his good trades and all of his wife's bad ones. I don't know what that meant and didn't really care. I will say that I have owned my house for 9 years and have never once had a single interaction with the wife, only with him. She's never acknowledged me and I'm okay with that. He also cleared up a few things. 1. She's 21, not 19. Not that it matters, I just got that wrong. 2. The Suburban she's driving isn't hers. If you live anywhere in Pennsylvania, you know we've had some pretty destructive storms over the last couple of months. Well, one of them claimed the daughter's normal-sized Hyundai by dropping a tree on it. She's renting the Suburban because she's going on a 6-week road trip with friends to California. Not the most fuel-efficient choice, but okay. The important part is she leaves next Saturday. And 3, he never sent her over here to say anything to me and didn't tell her about asphalt drying time with the intentions of her bringing it up to me. Apparently, he was just making small talk about the work that was done because he was home that day and she wasn't. She brought up that I wasn't in my driveway and he told her why. He apologized and said he would have her do the same. I told him that wasn't necessary. I really don't want to interact with her again for any reason. He's now parking in front of my house so that she has room for her school bus behind their house. The dad did mention that she feels like she made a mistake and should have gotten a smaller SUV but is too stubborn to take it back. Lol. But that's it. She's leaving on Saturday, and while I am not leaving my car on the street until Christmas, I am still leaving it there until Wednesday. Be kind. Smiley face. Well, Pete, the good thing about all of this is that you're not going to have to deal with her anymore since she's leaving. So here's wishing you the best. Thanks for sharing, OP, and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user FitTaro9356. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my boyfriend to come over anymore because he's too much of a clean freak? So, I lied to my boyfriend and told him I'd be out of town this weekend just so he wouldn't come over. I feel bad, but I honestly needed a break. I'm starting to get really fed up with how obsessive he is about cleanliness. For context, I have 2 cats. I vacuum 2 to 3 times a day just to keep the fur under control, and I try my best to keep things clean. But you know how it is. Sometimes fur still floats around or lands in spots you missed. The issue is he'll notice a single strand of cat fur and act like it's the end of the world. There were times he literally woke me up in the middle of the night to complain about one piece of fur floating in the air. I'd say I'll vacuum in the morning, but he keeps poking me until I get up and do it right then and there. He also hates when my cats go into the room, so whenever he visits, I have to keep them out, which feels unfair because it's their home too. He wears black all the time despite me suggesting not to, so obviously fur sticks to him more, and then he complains right in front of me like it's my fault. Out of frustration, I cancelled our weekend plans just so I could have some peace and quiet. He's been staying over every weekend lately, and honestly, I don't feel at ease in my own space anymore. I don't know. I feel kind of shallow and petty, and maybe I'm being unreasonable. Am I the a-hole for needing space and not wanting him around because of this? OP, I don't think you're wrong for needing space, but the lie says a lot. You're avoiding, not solving. His behavior isn't cleanliness, it's control. Waking you up to vacuum, banishing your cats, constant complaints, that's not respectful. So you need to be honest. Tell him how you feel. If cat fur is a deal breaker for him or his rules are one for you, better to know now than keep living around resentment. Peace shouldn't require pretending to be out of town. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Bob Zagnut2 says, "You, cats have fur. You're going to get cat fur on you if you come over. Stop your incessant whining and deal with it. Or if you can't, don't come over anymore. Your choice." Coco's niece says, "Not the a-hole. Quote, there were times he literally woke me up in the middle of the night to complain about one piece of fur floating in the air. I'd say I'll vacuum in the morning, but he keeps poking me until I get up and do it right then and there." End quote. Dump him. This is borderline abusive. Usually someone who found cat hair in the middle of the night and couldn't ignore it, they'd clean it themselves. Instead, your boyfriend forces you to wake up to vacuum it then and there? That's just not right. You two are completely incompatible. You're a cat person who owns 2 cats. He can't stand cats to the extent you have to keep them out of the room he's in. This just isn't sustainable at all. Tico Soon says, "Why the F would you be with him? You have to know that he's going to demand that you get rid of them, and if you leave him alone with them, he will dump them and claim they escaped. And when they are gone, you will never have another pet." What happens if you have a kid? You think he's going to be better with the insane messes that babies and toddlers bring? Good luck with that. If my partner had awakened me to try to force me to vacuum in the middle of the night, his tail would be out the door and the locks changed immediately. Not the a-hole, unless you stay with him. And T the T-Rex says, "You're not an a-hole for needing some time and space, but you should not get into the habit of lying to avoid having a direct conversation about why you need that space. That can easily snowball into much bigger problems." Second, if you're feeling this way now about him just coming over for a weekend, you should really consider whether or not you can picture yourself living with him as your life partner going forward. If this is an issue now and it's not dealt with in a way that's comfortable for both him and you, living together and potentially marriage down the road won't make it better either. So you need to have this conversation with him and figure out whether this is a situation that can be managed or not regarding a future together. Well, the community agrees on one thing. OP is not the a-hole. Some say dump him right away, some say have a conversation regarding the future, and some say think about it. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Hello, I just wanted to share an update because things took a turn I honestly didn't see coming. So after I lied and told him I'd be out of town, he got suspicious and showed up at my place on Saturday. I wasn't expecting him though. I was literally in my pajamas, curled up on the couch with my cats, enjoying a peaceful day. He knocked, and before I could even process what was happening, he was inside complaining about all the fur everywhere. LMAO, I vacuum multiple times a day. I just have cats, not a sterile lab. Laughing emoji. I asked him to leave, but he kept ranting about how disgusting it was. Then my oldest cat, who's super friendly but sheds a lot, jumped up on the couch next to him. He freaked out, stood up and shoved my cat off the couch. My poor cat hit the floor and ran under the bed. He's okay now. I completely lost it. That was the final straw. I told him to get out and that we were done for good. He tried to apologize and say it was an accident, but I didn't care. If you can't respect my cats, you can't be in my life. I honestly feel so much relief now. I can breathe again in my own home without feeling like I live in a museum. My cats are back to lounging wherever they please, as they should. Heart. Honestly, I'm already happier just having my cats back on the couch with me. Next time I'm picking someone who brings treats for them, not complaints. It's kinda scary realizing how normal I thought that was at the time. Laughing cat emoji. So yeah, I guess I have my answer now. Thanks for letting me vent here, and thanks for those who commented on my last post. So much appreciated. Well, P, it sounds like you've made the right decision. You and your cats are all much better off without him in your life. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Icy Computer Poop. Same penalty for being 6 minutes late as for being 3 hours late? Okay, boss. I've always been the kind of person to arrive at work or events early. I hate the stress of running late, so I always allow more than enough travel time on my commute to avoid lateness. I always stopped for a coffee first thing on my morning commute to work. It was a half-hour drive to work on the highway, so I'd like to sip my coffee and listen to tunes to relax before work. Even though it's only a half-hour commute, I would leave for work an hour before my start time just in case there were any unexpected delays. One particular day, there was a massive jam on the highway. Now, normally I get to work 20 to 30 minutes early because of the extra travel time, but this traffic jam was bad enough that it still made me 6 minutes late for work. Supervisor starts giving me crap for coming in late but having a coffee, publicly calling me out in front of the other employees. Hey everyone, look at OP. His morning coffee is more important to him than respecting his co-workers. No amount of I bought the coffee before I knew there was a traffic jam would get him to stop hassling me. He wrote me up for being late. Now, my company had a policy that less than 5 minutes late is okay, but 5+ minutes late means a potential write-up. Doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes and 30 seconds or 2 hours late, the punishment was the same. However, the supervisors were given leeway on this and were encouraged not to penalize people unless they were consistently late. I was almost never late, almost always early, but my supervisor decided to punish me anyway. So, fast forward a couple of weeks, another delay, and looks like I'm going to arrive at work about 15 minutes late. So, knowing that I'm going to be written up no matter what, I pulled off the highway, found a nice little restaurant, and had a leisurely 2-hour breakfast. Showed up at work 2.5 hours late and got the same write-up I would have done if I had been 15 minutes late, but at least I also got to relax and eat bacon. I still showed up at work early 99% of the time, but every now and then there might be a delay that would mean I'd be 6 minutes late or 10 or 15. Rather than take the penalty for a lousy couple of minutes, each time I'd extend the late time a couple of hours and have a nice, relaxing breakfast. Well, OP, there's no point in punishing yourself over the company punishing you as well. Why not have a nice breakfast if you're gonna get written up anyways, regardless if it's 6 minutes or 2 hours? Basically, making the best out of a crappy situation. Thanks for sharing, OP, and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.